Good afternoon. This video is in fulfillment of the requirements for the Module 5 assignment of the class Problem-Based Action Research with Dr. Reagan through Aspen University. After reviewing several options for action research projects through the discussion forum of the course, I have selected to discuss developing an action research project to address the issues that new students face when trying to integrate into the school community. This is particularly difficult in my current setting because it is a very small preschool through sixth grade district with approximately 100 students. The entire town is approximately 1 square mile. While this may seem like an ideal setting to integrate new students, and in many respects it is, one of the bigger issues that we face is that new students, even in kindergarten, are faced with developing relationships with and becoming a part of a cohort of children who have known one another since birth. This type of close-knit community can be both daunting for a child who is trying to fit in and unforgiving of differences. Our strong work with character education and social-emotional learning paves the way for structures that can assist new students in developing the social skills necessary to traverse this difficult transition. The difficulty of assimilating into the culture of a new school is not unique to our setting, and the school is by no means unfriendly. However, the social dynamics of children can be difficult to navigate, and I have seen new students struggle in many different settings. Overall, the goal is to develop a cohesive school community that provides a positive school experience for all students. This action research project will focus specifically on addressing the problem of being the newest members of that community. Unlike traditional scientific research, where the goal is to study a phenomenon through manipulation of variables in order to better understand it and add it to the body of knowledge on the subject, action research is geared toward identifying an issue within an organization and working to develop a viable solution that will enhance the organization or the experiences of those within it. With this in mind, the goals of this research project are geared toward providing a better experience for new students to the school. A major goal of this project will be to provide new students with a connection to established members of the school community. The connection will provide new students with a person or people to whom they can look for support as they adapt to the new environment. Another important goal will be creating structures that foster collaboration among new and established students. This will give those involved in this onboarding process activities, materials, and settings that will foster opportunities for desired connection and collaboration. Finally, another important goal of this action research study is to begin creating a culture of inclusivity that teaches students skills that will enable them to move beyond the typical acknowledgement of new students within a school, such as welcoming them in class meetings or being asked to say hello, and moving toward actions that indicate acceptance and inclusion. One of the early steps in the action research process is determining who needs to be involved in the process and in what capacity. A project of this nature involves formal and informal information gathering from multiple sources, including from new students, current students who were new students in the past, teachers, support staff, and parents. This could be done through formal and informal conversations, focus groups, and surveys. Beyond information gathering, it is important to identify the staff who will be needed to help develop the desired solution. This would include those charged with social emotional health, such as social workers or counselors, the homeroom teachers who will need to help monitor the program, and any other staff who will oversee and supervise the children throughout the day. Although specific individuals will be needed to help shape and oversee the solution, the fact is that all staff will need to be involved in the successful implementation. Another group of individuals who need to be identified is the new student pool. This may seem simple, however, determinations need to be made about what constitutes a new student. This could mean new 3-year-olds in our preschool program, or when they move up to the big school in kindergarten, in addition to any students who move into the district and start new in any other grade. I believe it would be more beneficial to begin this type of work in kindergarten, as students in preschool are developmentally not ready to grasp all of the lessons of a mentoring program and will mostly connect with the adults in their classrooms. Finally, it is important to identify the students in the older grades who will be designated as mentors. This work will require the assistance of all teaching staff to find not just those who are considered traditionally good students in terms of grades, but those who have the qualities to be good mentors. This is less clear cut. As with any research study, there are obstacles that must be overcome in order for the program to work. The first hurdle will be the identification of suitable mentors that I mentioned previously. This can be overcome through collaborative work between the staff to discuss and determine the qualities needed for the role. It is important to decide which students will benefit from the experience of serving as a mentor, not simply those who need one. Another obstacle will be parent consent. Not all parents of potential mentors and mentees will be comfortable with the children potentially missing academic time to participate in mentoring activities. Additionally, not all parents of mentees will be comfortable with their young children being paired with an older student. These can be overcome through open communication about the purpose of the program, the parameters, including how often mentors and mentees will meet during academic time, the type of supervision that mentoring activities will have, and training that the staff will do in those serving as mentors. As mentioned previously in this presentation, the solution that I am proposing is a mentoring program for new students that would pair them with older students to help provide a connection to the school community. This solution would involve a number of factors to implement. Once the information gathering, goal setting, identification of individuals, and brainstorming of obstacles is complete, the next step is to actually design the mentoring program and the metrics for monitoring the progress and determining success. The mentoring program must be robust enough to address the problem, but manageable enough for staff, students, and parents to handle. With this in mind, a committee of parents, staff, and older students will be created to develop a list of components that are needed for the program to succeed. This will include an identification process for new mentors, an appropriate training program for them, a set of structured activities overseen by staff that can serve as icebreakers at the beginning of the school year, a list of the types of interactions that students can initiate and when they can happen, a brief training for all staff to assist students with their mentoring duties, and mechanisms for addressing mentor situations that are not working. Each of these components requires focus to develop them appropriately, beginning with the makeup of the committee. This will need to be a committee of people who are invested in the success of the program. The group may need to meet on several occasions prior to the start of the school year and then periodically throughout the year to address any issues that arise. As mentioned earlier, identification of mentors is the key to the success of the program. Oftentimes in schools, we select students for leadership roles because they are the most academically talented. In this type of endeavor, that is not the only factor that matters. In some cases, there are students who struggle academically that are quite socially and emotionally intelligent and would benefit from the opportunity to lead and connect in this way. It is important to ensure that the selection is not simply driven by traditional thinking. Once the mentors are selected, it is important to develop a plan for training them. They need to have some understanding of working with younger children, developing relationships, team building, and knowing when they need to bring things to appropriate adults. This can be achieved through a team building and training day at one of our local camps. These have been effective in working with our peer leaders and student council in the past. This would give the staff in charge and the student mentors an opportunity to explore the trust that is necessary to form mentoring relationships and specifically train in the skills needed for the position in a separate setting away from the school. The committee must also work on a specific September plan for the first month of school to build the relationships between the mentors and mentees. This will involve opportunities to bring the entire group together to engage in ice-breaking and team-building activities at the school. This will serve to let the new student mentees see that they are not alone and that there is a larger group at work to make their transition smooth. It will also serve to provide the mentors with a support system should they run into issues. These activities will lay the groundwork for the rest of the school year. Another component of the program is a list of potential activities in which mentoring pairs can engage throughout the school day or week or year. This may include eating lunch together and participating in recess together. It is likely that this time will be a prime time for pairs to engage, as it does not require the loss of academic time. It can be easily scheduled, and it will allow groups of mentors to spend time with groups of new students. Additional times can be scheduled for consistency, including once a week, mentors can go to the morning meetings in new students' classes, or once per month, structured activities with staff and students can be arranged. There are many creative ways that interactions can be built into the school day. The final two components involve providing the staff some training at a faculty meeting on how to best support our student mentoring pairs and provide the students with a mechanism for reporting any concerns to adults. This may arise because a mentee says something that is concerning to a mentor, or if a pairing is not working well. There can be many reasons for this type of conversation, but the students need to understand how to initiate it with the appropriate adults. As a final component, the Action Research Project needs to have a system for monitoring the progress of the program throughout the year in order to adjust as needed, and a mechanism for evaluation of the first year to determine if it is viable and should be continued as is or in a different form. The most basic form of formative evaluation for this project will be regular check-ins with the mentors and mentees by their teachers and the counseling staff. It will be important to check in informally, but also to schedule formal times for having conversations with the students about their experience with the program. Another form of check-in would be a mentoring log for older students to complete. It can be a simple Google Doc that the students log their time with their mentees and a column for any comments. As a summative evaluation to determine the direction of the program for the following year, it is important to conduct focus groups with the mentors and the mentees to determine what they believe to be the highlights and successes of the program and the struggles or negative aspects of the program. Additionally, a survey should be conducted with the staff, parents, and the students to determine satisfaction with the program. This presentation does not cover all eventualities of the action research, but it provides a basic framework from which to begin. Thank you very much.